So we heard what happened in Washington. I read the headline of what transpired in Washington. I just want to make known that I hear the headline: Rwanda and Congo sign peace under U.S. mediation. I'm just making known that we saw everything, all the barbaric peace, signed in Washington. There's never a peace signed in Washington that have generate good results. But I ask, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this Rwanda and Congo signed peace under U.S. mediation? What's the meaning of that? What's the performance? What is this performance played on the blood-soaked soil? What is this very performance played on the blood-soaked soil? Because Congo is the blood-soaked soil. Blood is soaked on the soil of Congo. What is this performance played on the blood-soaked soil? That so-called peace deal that was signed in Washington recently by some idiocy. What is this stage handshake under the blinding light of cameras while darkness still swallowed the children of Congo? This is a question to Washington and those claimed Congo and Rwanda representative who went to Washington, traveling all a far kilometer all the way from Africa. Then tomorrow some people gather themselves under behind the round table calling themselves African Union. I repeat myself. I say, what is the stage handshake? What is this very stage handshake under the blinding light of cameras while darkness is swallow the children of Congo? If for decades Africa bled, if Rwanda wept, if Congo was raped by a foreign power and puppet government. I repeat myself. If for decades Africa bled, if Rwanda wept, if Congo was raped by foreign powers and puppet government, if minerals were stolen and life reduced to bargaining chips, the life of the Congo citizens has been reduced to the extent of they become like a bargaining chips, then we must shout. I especially, Desmond and the Lions, I must shout. Biafra Lion must shout. This is not peace. That so-called performance on Washington that they call peace D signed by so-called Donald Trump administration in Washington, that is not peace. That is a Polish betrayal. That is what? A Polish betrayal. Do not call it peace when the D is signed with blood-stained hands. We don't call that peace because those who signed that very peace are the same people with the blood-stained hand. They have hand in the conflict in Congo. The so-called people who went and signed the peace. Do not call it peace when the puppeteers smile from Washington. The same Washington that fed the war with weapons, lies, and dollars. So I say it loud. The Washington of Africa is supposed to be Biafra. Yes, Biafra, you heard it clear. Biafra is the sacred ground that carries the soul of Africa. Biafra is the spin, the moral compass, the divine voice of a continent long silenced. Biafra is the dignity of every African, of every mankind. Biafra is the authority of every African. Biafra, let this be loud to your hearing. Biafra is the peace that should have been honored but was buried. The so-called peace that was signed in Congo, suppose Biafra should have been the country, the nation on Africa making this very peace. Blessing, a peace that doesn't come with blessing is not a peace. Let this be known. The peace from Washington has no blessing. The peace from Washington has no blessing. The ink of that treaty is soaked in hypocrisy. The ink of that treaty is soaked in hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. Because no foreign capital has the moral right to bless Africa with peace. Only a free Biafran could have done that. Only Biafra kingdom should have done that. Because Biafra stands for truth. Biafra knows what it means to die for freedom. Because Biafra carries the cross of African liberation. While the world pretend not to see it, not to know about it, not to acknowledge it. So I ask every African, every black soul across the earth, will we keep dancing to foreign drums while our ancestors' bone cry beneath our feet? Will we let thieves and tyrants write our future in distant hall, or will we rise? This is a question to all Africans, anywhere you are. Let this message echo across the mountains of Kivu, across the valley of Aba in Biafra land, into the heartbeat of Lagos, Addis Ababa, Kinshasa, Kigali, etc. Africa will never be free until Biafra is free. Africa will never see true peace until Biafra is recognized. And Africa will never walk tall until she bow before the truth buried in Biafran soil. This is not this peace deal is a show. That very peace deal in Washington was a show. It was a show. And we are tearing down that curtain. The Biafra lion is tearing down that curtain. We are no longer asking for change. We are commanding it. The Biafra lion is not asking for change, but I'm commanding it. I'm commanding it. I'm not asking for change. I'm commanding change. And I want this to be made known rapidly. That very peace deal that was signed in Washington, that was a show. And I'm here tearing down that very curtain of the show. Because a peace that doesn't come with blessing, a peace that wasn't blessed, that is not peace. Because the same hand that caused the war, caused the stability of Congo and Rwanda, they are the same people claiming to make peace. And making peace, requesting for something in exchange for peace. So that is not a truthful peacemaker. A truthful peacemaker doesn't request nothing in exchange for making peace. That is a true peacemaker. Biafra ya neme ye mo, Biafra ye mo. Biafra ye mo, ya neme ye mo. Kwa ye basa Biafra. Aineku. Biafra owns Africa. Biafra is the dignity that African has been looking for. So all the dignity of any black race, any African race relies on Biafra.